Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's Craig, and this is the Spirit of Vinyl. How are you guys doing this week? Finally, Friday. Friday night, having a good time, I guess. Work was work as usual. You know how it goes. Time to get some beers. Today, I am drinking Big Juicy Beer Hug Imperial IPA made by Goose Island, full of sunshine and tropical sweetness. I've had this before. Look at that. 9.9 ABV. It's a big L 19-ounce can. I drink two of these. I'm going to be done. That's going to be it. So, I'm going to crack this open. Let's get this weekend started. Hope you guys are all doing well. Oh, man, that's good. That goes down way too smooth. Got to be careful with these, that's for sure. I drink that too fast. I might be drunk before this video's over. All right, well, how's it going out there? Well, I've been seeing a few things out there in the VC. I kind of want to do something here real quick before I get started. I've noticed a lot of people out there just like mentioning other channels that they like and people they watch and things like that. So I just wanted to give a couple shout outs essentially is all, people have been mentioning me and other people, and there's a lot of you out there, and I love watching all of your videos, but I don't have time to watch everybody all the time. That's the biggest thing. So if, I was commenting and then I stopped, it's just, I don't have time to watch everybody all the time. There's just so much great content out there, and there's only so many hours in the day. I always try to watch Steve. A is for Alice, B is for Bob, C is for, I don't know, we'll call it Chicago for this point in time, because that's where Steve's at, if I remember correctly. I always watch him. I try to always watch Steve. I try to watch Mike, MGK Boston. Hey, Mike, how you doing? I'll put links in all these. You guys know most of these guys. Gary from Physical Format. Let's see, who else do I normally watch? Mark, Twanger's Turntable, up there up north in Canada, north of the border of us. Mark, cheers. Morton Estad over in... Oh, he moves around. I want to say, where's Morton from? I don't remember. Sorry, Morton. He just mentioned me in one of his videos too, doing this same thing, just kind of mentioning people he's seen or whatever. And then there's other people... Rattled Ronnie. If you guys don't know Ronnie, go check out Rattled Ronnie. Mostly shows metal. He buys a lot of stuff and he shows a lot of stuff. And he doesn't post all the time, but Ronnie's a cool guy and he doesn't have that many followers. So if you don't know Ronnie, go check him out too. Anyway, that's enough rambling for now, all you guys. And everybody else who I haven't mentioned, I'll try to remember other names and other people as time goes on and do this maybe on a weekly basis or whatever. All right, so what I want to do today, I want to go back. So back in July, I went on vacation. Me and my wife, Amanda, we drove back to Utah for 2 weeks. To visit family, and my mom and my brother live out there, and her brother and all our friends, because that's where we're from. We've only been here in Tennessee. It's been 4 years now, so we got back there. It was the first time we'd been back. And while I was there, staying at my mom's house, I went through and found all her records, and I know I mentioned that in a previous video, but I hadn't really gone through them all. They were still in the box, so I've gone through them. I got rid of some. I kept, almost 50 of them. Got them through the spin clean, started to listen to some of them. So since I got that, today I'm going to show you a few albums that I got from my mom. All of these are from the 60s. I kind of broke it up that way, the stuff I have. So this is stuff from the 60s when my mom would have been, 14 to, I'm looking at these, they're all from like 63 to 65, and she was born in 48, so she would have been anywhere between, about 15 to 17 when she bought these records, so I thought I'd show them. I've cleaned, like I said, I put them all through the spin clean. I've played a few of them, not a whole lot of them. But so here's one that I played. The Safaris, the original hit version of Wipeout and Surfer Joe, and other popular selections by other instrumental artists. This came out in April of 1963. Every record I'll be showing today is a mono press. There's the track listing on the back, and then it's got some ads for some other stuff on here. So it's on Dot Records. There's the label. I know you can't really see that. There's a few scuffs on here, but overall, very good shape. I've actually played this. A little pop here and there, but overall, no skips, no sticks, or anything like that. Just a few little pops and crackles, but not too bad. So that was, like I said, from 1963. Here is one, the Hondells. This is from 1964. It's got Go Little Honda, and this is the track listing. It's on the front of it. And basically, it is... I love these old records. There's this big story on the side about how the song is a hit and everything else, and who these guys are. And basically, all the songs are basically about riding motorcycles and riding their Hondas and hot rods and beach parties. And this is also surf music, just like the last one. Of course, that was all instrumentals. This has lyrics on it and stuff. It's on Mercury Records. Like I said, this was from 1964. Also mono, as usual. So it's on Mercury Records. And I haven't seen that label before for Mercury Records. That is not the Mercury record label from, you know, my Kiss albums in the 80s. So, same thing, just a few scuffs. Plays well. These first ones are ones I've played for sure. And it's cool to go back and, you know, and some of these I remember as a kid. You know, that album, the previous one. This one right here. Also, the Shantays. Pipeline by the Shantays. This is... all, if I remember correctly, I think this is all just like instrumental surf music type stuff. I don't remember if there's any lyrics on this or not. This is on Dot Records. There's a picture on the back. And I just looked all this up. This is now my oldest album in the collection. This came out in January of 1963. That is 6 years before I was even alive, and this is now the oldest record I have in my collection. This beats out the Safaris album by 4 months. The Safaris came out in April of 63, so that there coming out in January is my oldest one. And this one hardly even has any scuffs on it at all. I mean, this one is shiny and new. It's got the Dot record label on there. Pretty cool stuff. I mean, honestly, it is. It's fun to just listen to. I remember these albums being played when I was a kid sometimes, you know. And apparently my mom took really good care of those records at the time. So, all right, next up. Dawn, The Four Seasons, Go Away. This is obviously Frankie Valli and The Four Seasons. This is from 1964. There's a picture of the band in the back. It says right there, featuring the sounds of Frankie Valli. I have not played this yet, so I'm not sure how it sounds. You know, a lot of this music isn't my style. It's fun to go back and be nostalgic. It's on Philips Records. There's the old school Philips label. But once again, just some paper scuffs. No big scratches or anything looking on it. I'm sure it'll play just fine. The thing is about this music I got from my mom is it's nostalgia to go back and listen to that and remind me of when I was a little kid. But I'm not going to be like a go-to to listen to Frankie Valli and stuff like that. But they will get played. All these will get played sooner or later. All right, what's up next here? Next is a compilation album. It's called 20 Pop Song Hits. It says exclusive performance recorded in England. It's got like Doo-Wah Diddy, The House of the Rising Sun. Let's see what else, if anything. Can't Buy Me Love by the Beatles is on here. And, you know, this is 20 songs, pop songs. It's got A Hard Day's Night. There's your track listing on the back right there. My Guy, Some Enchanted Feeling. I mean, that's, you know, pretty good track listing. I'm assuming, since it says recorded in England, is going to be live. I don't know. I've not played it. And basically, the main reason to keep this, I mean, it's got The House of the Rising Sun on it. So, probably one of the greatest rock songs ever written. The thing is if you look at it, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but look how small those, you know, it's got 20 songs on one record. So they got that pretty compressed. So I don't know how it's going to sound. And, you know, it's in mono. So, I mean, I don't know if that helps or not. What do I know about mono? All these records are my first mono records that I've ever owned. Before this, my oldest record was like something for like 66, and it was not in mono. My oldest record was an Animals album, and it was from the mid-60s, and it was not in mono. So, but I don't know how this is going to sound. But it's a pretty cool track listing. So, here we go. Dion DiMucci, Donna the Prima Donna. Sorry about the glare. I guess I should have taken them out of their wraps. So, there's your track listing on the back. This Dion album is also from 1963. Also, obviously a mono press on Columbia Records. I don't know any of this music. I know who Dion and the Belmonts and stuff like that. The name is familiar. I'm assuming it's going to be that doo-woppy type of music. So, here's another one. This is something that I definitely remember being as a child. Drag City by Jan and Dean. It's got Drag City, Little Deuce Coupe. I Gotta Drive. It's got this cool thing on the back with the cover. Like I said, nice little story written here on the side. Jan and Dean was one of my mom and dad's favorite. I've heard this record a whole bunch growing up. This record was on spins pretty much a lot of the time. It's on Liberty Records. So there's the label on there. Doesn't look too bad. They shined up real nice. They all have some sort of little scuff marks. Probably from the old school record players that my mom and dad had. You know, one of those consoles with the big giant console with the high thing. You could hang records on the top, and when the needle would go, it would just drop one record right on top of another one. So you got this one that stopped, and this is spinning down below. So then when the record drops, they slide on top of each other. So that Jan and Dean was from 63. And then there's this Jan and Dean live and in person, including songs performed on the Tammy Show. I have no idea what the Tammy Show is, but it's got Little Honda, Surf City. See, Little Honda right here. That was on that Hondel's album. So I think a lot of songwriters writing songs and these guys, people just performing. Dead Man's Curve. I mean, that's a killer song right there. Gotta love that. Also, same thing, Liberty label. And that is from 1965. That is the newest record that I'll be showing today. Next up, The Searchers, Needles and Pins. Number one group, direct from England. This is from 1964. There's a cool little story on the back here. So it's got pictures of all the band members right there. Shows how old they are, how much they weigh, what color their hair and their eyes are. And it's got a story, it says here, so I'm going to read this to you. It says, first came the Mayflower in 1620, then came the Redcoats in 1775. And after the Beetle Blight of 64, there now appears the American shores the most exciting Liverpool sound group, The Searchers, who with their third single record knocked the Beatles out of first place in England. After joining forces just 8 months ago, the Searchers have literally skyrocketed to European fame and steadily climbed to the top of England's record popularity charts. While many of the other Liverpool sound groups are showing off mainly hairstyles, the Searchers are showing themselves off as the most musical, most exciting of the new wave of sound from England. This album, their first released in the United States, will introduce you to many of the songs that the English teenagers count as their favorites. If you've been looking for an introduction to a brand new musical experience, meet the Searchers. And then there's the track listing right there down below. And honestly, they must have really hyped this band. I've never heard of these guys before. But they will definitely get a spin, especially if they have a Liverpool sound like the Beatles. Don't know if they really will or not. And it is on Cap Records. Let's get that turned around right there. Not sure if I've ever really seen that label before. So, looks like it's a little drum major hat on there. So, and that was from 1964. So, pretty bold statement in 64 to say, look, hey, we're as good or better than the Beatles. So, next up from 1964, also Gene Pitney, Big 16. Says it's a young disc artist. In the past several years, a talented, likable balladeer has compiled the unequaled record of platter successes, and one release after another immediately hits pay dirt and ascends to the best-selling of charts. That's the Gene Pitney, and there's the track listing on the back of that. I don't know what this sounds like. It says he's a balladeer, so I'm assuming a lot more of that Four Seasons type of sound. That's kind of my guess. And that is on Music Core Records. Kind of a cool label. I really dig labels. Cool labels. That's a cool looking label. I really dig that. And that one still had the insert from Music Core. It still had the inner sleeve with, you know, the ads on the one side and a little thing about the records and music for moderns and how they use rigid things to for their quality control and the whole 9 yards. So that's pretty cool. And one thing I do have to say about these records from the 60s, they're all heavy. They all feel like they're at least 180 gram records. I mean, I'm surprised, you know. You get some of those stuff from the 70s that are real thin. You know, there was an oil shortage and all that. These are not that. These are basically, you know, we pay now for 180 gram vinyl. Some of these are probably 200s. You know, they're pretty thick and heavy. So they've held up really well over the last, fucking 60 years almost? 40, yeah, over 60 years. So, goddamn, I'm getting old. All right, 1965, This Diamond Ring by Gary Lewis and the Playboys. This I know. I mean, everybody knows This Diamond Ring. I mean, unless you've been living under a rock since 1965. So, of course, I was living under a rock enough that when I saw this at my mom's house, I'm like, oh, Gary Lewis and the Playboys? I didn't know that was Jerry Lewis's kid. I had no idea. What the hell do I know? I mean, all this music was before I was alive. But so Gary Lewis and the Playboys, using his father's connections probably, you know, connections, you know what I'm talking about, to get himself into the music business, you know. There was a lot of that going on in the 60s, of course. So 65, Gary Lewis and the Playboys, got This Diamond Ring on there, Love Potion number 9. Those are a couple of songs we know. Liberty is the label on there. And finally, from 1964, the Dixie Cups, Chapel of Love. Of course, going to the chapel, gonna get married. That song has been in the American icon for, you know, since 1964. So this is that record there. Dixie Cups, Chapel of Love. No pictures of the band on here. Probably due to certain race relations at the time. I looked it up, saw the pictures. And this is on this cool label I've never seen before, Redbird Records. That's a cool label. I really dig that label. When I entered this in, I was surprised at the price of this record. If you go on Discogs, this thing will cost you some money. This one's, you know, my mom does not understand that this record, that these type of records that she's had since she was a kid, that I have and have cleaned and everything else, are sometimes worth $50 and $60 that she probably paid $2 for when she was in high school, you know. And she does not get the idea that people will pay that kind of money for a record. And that's kind of where that one sits at Discogs on the median price right now. So that's all the stuff that I got from my mom from the 60s. There's more over there. I've got about 30 more that, like I said, I've cleaned, but I've listened to some of that over there too. So it's not just the 3 I showed here that I've listened to, because that's 70s music over there. So I'll be showing those at a later date. I'm not going to just continue on with, here's my mom's old stuff, But, I will do another part to this sooner or later and show the stuff from the 70s. Bands like Tony Orlando and Dawn and ABBA and so on like that, and I've listened to some of that stuff. That sticks in my brain a little bit more than this, because in the 70s, I was a kid growing up, so in 78 and 79, that music was the modern music that my mom was playing at home. So, instead of going back to her high school days and playing that music, we were listening to more of the modern stuff. She was a woman in her 30s at the time or whatever. So, and so those records that are over there, they stick with me a lot more, honestly. Putting on a Barry Manilow record or whatever, I'm going to know a lot of those songs, and I'm going to know a lot of that stuff. So, but so that's what some of the stuff that I got from my mom's house. So, and I really like that idea that I have these records that were my mom's and my dad's, and I get to keep that alive and keep them clean and keep playing them, and hoping, knowing that in the future, my son, since I've gotten him into this thing also, setting him up for a lifetime of spending too much money on stuff. That my records, and he'll do this one day, that, this is my dad's record that he bought when he was 13 years old, so, because I still have all of that stuff too. So, anyway, that's all I've got for this weekend. I really, really appreciate you guys checking in and watching. Keep getting messages over there. One of you who will probably watch this is one of the guys who has messaged me at this point in time, but I don't want to drop names, so I'm not going to say anything about that. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you all. Have a great weekend. Cheers to everybody. Go out and get yourself a nice big beer hug from somebody, or get yourself a nice big bear hug from somebody, or, hug yourself. I don't know. Thanks once again, guys. We'll talk to y'all later, man. Have a great weekend.